Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're continuing from the last lecture, working on our Sunset API app. Just to quickly recap, we're using the Yahoo Weather API for our app, and we're grabbing the sunset time for Hawaii using this API, and we're getting it in JSON format, which is displayed here at this endpoint. So if you follow this link here, open it up in a new tab, you can see the JSON data directly here. So back in our app, we'll start writing some code so we can actually get that sunset time and display it here in our HTML. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is actually use jQuery and change this text here. So we're going to do that with the jQuery selector. So we select that span tag here because that's what we're targeting, because we want to change the text inside of that span tag. So span.text to change the text, and inside of here we write whatever we want the new text to be. So new text. Perfect. So it's not actually updating yet. You can see that we still have the some text that we defined here in HTML, and that's because we don't have valid JavaScript yet here, because this path to JSON data placeholder is an actual URL. So we're going to backspace and then enter the actual URL. So zoom out, so you can copy this here, which is the endpoint for our JSON data. Jump back here, and then paste it between these quotation marks. Perfect, so now this is pointing to actual JSON data, and now we have valid JavaScript, so you'll notice that this new text here is updated now. And what we want to do is, instead of displaying this new text, we want to display the sunset info. So we'll just backspace this for now and create a new line, declare a variable, and inside of that variable, actually we'll name the variable sunset because it'll hold our sunset time, and inside of that we're going to target that sunset info JSON data, and then we want to go through the nested objects to find that sunset time. So if we zoom out and we take a look at that in the JSON editor, so it's inside this object, inside query, results, channel, astronomy, and then finally inside of that, we have the sunset key that holds this time value, and that's what we need. So back inside CodePen, so it's sunset info dot query dot results dot channel dot astronomy dot sunset. And that should be the correct information there, and then we'll just take this sunset variable and pass it through to this text method and paste that in there. And you may have noticed that after doing this we still don't have the correct time displayed. Right now we do, but the thing with this Weather Yahoo API is that sometimes it's unreliable and it'll give us a null result. So you may be getting the correct time displayed to us like I am here, or you may not, and we'll work around that in just a second. But let me just recap what we're doing here. So this Weather Yahoo API gives us this endpoint here, which gives us this JSON data, and we're going through these nested objects to target the correct object, and then grabbing this sunset key that has the value for us, and then we're displaying it here. So if this isn't working for you and you're still getting some text displayed to you instead of an actual time, this may be because the Yahoo API, which is sometimes buggy, is giving you null results. So if that's happening, there's actually another website you can use to grab a sunset time. So let me just erase this URL here, hit backspace, and then erase this as well, backspace. And now you can navigate to a different website here that I have open, and I'll zoom in for you so you can have a look at the URL. So it's sunrise-sunset.org/API. So if you just enter that URL exactly, you'll be brought to this website here. And this is a nice website that gives us an API as well for accessing the sunset and sunrise times. So it's pretty simple to use, and we'll just go down here where there's some sample requests, and we'll just copy this, and we'll modify some of the queries here in the URL so we get the correct latitude and longitude for Hawaii. So click that, copy that and open up a new tab. I already have one open, and paste it in, press enter, and we're given the JSON data here like we were before. So it's a little bit more information here, but it still gives us sunrise and sunset times as well. So what we'll do is actually we'll just modify the longitude and latitude here to make sure it's in Hawaii as well, or you can just enter whatever you want, but I'm just using Hawaii for this example. So zoom back out, so grab this here for the longitude and I'll paste that in just like that, and this here as well, and I'll paste that in here and hit enter, and hopefully that's correct. If it's not, it doesn't matter because we're still getting JSON data. And we're just going to grab the sunset time. So this is kind of hard to read, so we're going to copy this like we did before and put it into our JSON viewer right here. Click this arrow and then we get this nice structured result. So let's go through here, and it's pretty simple to use. So we have the object.results and then .sunrise or sunset, which is what we need. So go back into here, and sunset will be sunset info dot results dot sunset. I believe that is correct. Dot results dot sunset. Yep, and that should give us the exact time with the seconds as well too, actually. Perfect. And now let's paste that URL between these quotation marks here. So just click here, Control C, Control V. So we're grabbing that JSON data, passing it through as this sunset parameter, and then we're getting the .results.sunset, which gives us that time. And then we're passing that through into this .text method, which will update the text in that span tag and display the time for us. So 7:12:36 a.m. Perfect. So just to recap what we're doing here, we're using this jQuery method to grab the JSON data from this specified URL. After that, we call this function here, which passes the JSON data through with whatever we name it, in this case sunset info. And then we use this jQuery selector to reference our HTML span element and change this text to whatever is in these parentheses. So in this case, it's the JSON data that we grabbed that contains the sunset value. So this here contains the sunset value, which is stored in the sunset variable, which we then pass through to this text method. So don't worry too much if you still don't have a grasp of JSON APIs and how this getJSON method works. We will go through several more examples in this section and then continue working on our main application after that. So there's still plenty of time left to learn these concepts. I'll see you in the next lecture.